How do people of different methodological and political vantage points craft productive conversations? And if I put that in my language as, well, how do we talk together? Again, that's something that's very critical, I think, in this arena, because so many of us are coming from very different backgrounds.
And is that, food sheds, food systems, agriculture is constantly restructuring itself, right? This is a historical process that has been going on for a very long time, that this is not a unilinear process, right? We're not all going towards, some view of technological advance and progress and some one model. In fact, these things tend to go in lots of different directions. So can we imagine an alternative system where we can produce things? And perhaps we need to look outside of big universities for new ideas about how to feed the world.
I was trying to figure out how to bring maps together with food, and I went to a meeting with a bunch of community activists and said, what we really need is a map of all the supermarkets in Chicago. Who was at the table was a geographer, some urban studies folks, eventually somebody from nursing, somebody from public health nutrition, and a number of community organizations. It would seem like the University of Minnesota is uniquely sort of positioned to bring together the focuses on urban food systems and urban food policy, and sort of the more traditional extension focuses of an agricultural land grant school.
Our allegiances to our disciplinary borders, the structural obstacles that keep us in St. Paul or Minneapolis or wherever internally, CLA, etc. And I think obviously these are important observations that deserve rumination beyond this conference in terms of how we address these issues. The boundaries that are both within us and around us that structure how we can have this conversation.
Food issues, while they're very complex and in a certain sense very unique and different from other areas of life, cannot really be separated from other areas of life. That we could use what we have in common as a starting point for a discussion. So we face very complicated issues. The questions that people ask of us are very difficult questions. And what we lack is the ability to experiment. And for the most part, we have to observe life as it happened and try to abstract knowledge from it.
To me, the first question is, who is the we? Who is the we that we mean when we talk about feeding the world? And of course we can't have any conversations when we're all signaling to each other that we're in the know, or that we're not even aware that we're using terminology that makes absolutely no sense to other people. So I think trying to speak in plain language is a great idea. How do you keep people engaged in the conversation? Because it takes a lot of energy, it takes an incredible amount of patience, because you don't share assumptions.
Students are fed here if they live on campus as part of their room and board package, but I do wonder when they leave their degree program here, when they graduate and move on with their lives, how many of them end up at risk for food insecurity?
Part of the task of raising citizens and of cultivating a critical citizenship would be to educate people about where their food comes from.
How I look for my food and so on. So we have both, we have the experiences, we have the food science, we have the agriculture, but we have also the social science theory because it's a university.
What the university is doing and our food is related to social relations, and that it's embedded in these broader power dynamics and decisions, and so food can't be studied on itself.